We heard a lot today about how technology is changing, a lot about AI, but most importantly, we think it's important to keep the customer first. So I think that's probably a common theme that you relay to your team, with all of the back-end changes, consolidating tech perhaps. How do you make sure that customer experience is at the forefront of every one of those decisions and schedules and consolidation?
Yeah, it's a great question. So what we've done is first focused on technical efficiency, so building a single backend where we can then just personalize for every guest based on the airline that they want to interact with or the airline they happen to be flying, whether they're a loyalty member or not. And what it allows us to do is create multiple front-end digital experiences across our website and app, all on a single backend.
Awesome. And you guys have been optimizing customers for a number of years now, and with our experimentation solution. So both our front-end client-side web experimentation and our server-side feature experimentation. Can you walk me through a little bit of the journey and the evolution of your program over the years?
Yeah, I think it has been an evolution of our work with Optimizely, and about 4 years ago where it really took off is when we changed the way our teams work together. So historically, the technology team did things a bit in a silo. They made decisions based on small focus groups or UX studies, and they weren't necessarily tied directly to business outcomes. And about 4 years ago, we shifted that mindset and shifted that mentality with Optimizely being a key partner in doing that. And part of that was setting up an experimentation team that lived outside of the technology group that held the technology team accountable. So what it enabled is we could run A/B tests, but you had a neutral third party who was letting you know whether or not it was driving the business outcome that you needed. And that model has been incredibly successful for us. It's been a very strong partnership between the teams, but it has allowed us to be more flexible in what we're doing, but also have a different layer of accountability that we didn't have before.
Yeah, and every company is set up differently, right? And I think it's interesting to see okay, experimentation has to be separate, right? But then there's a lot more work that I typically find of just the communication layer then between that team and all the different product teams. So what was that journey like of bringing everyone else along for the ride?
Yes, I think we're gonna get real here. I think that dynamic of having it live in a different organization really comes down to the people and how well the people communicate and work together. And where we really saw a step level change in the way our teams work together is when we aligned on shared outcomes. And when the experimentation team felt just as invested in the revenue initiative goals that the e-commerce team was taking on. And so now they work together, and so you don't see the org seams as much. It doesn't always feel like we're two completely separate teams. The e-commerce team involves the experimentation team in all of our testing, all of the planning. So before a feature is even built, they're brought into the process. And I think that's made a huge difference in how we both leverage Optimizely and work together as an organization.
Yeah, I love how you said that the experimentation team is invested in those outcomes that the e-com team is driving. I think that just makes the ownership extreme at that point, right? Like everyone is obsessed over these goals, which is great because that just translates to better customer experience from everyone.
Yeah.